Welcome back everybody. In this video, I'll be reviewing my trip flying business class with EgyptAir. I just finished my last day in Cairo and now I'm heading to Cairo International Airport. On my way to the airport, there was some road rage and my driver and another almost got into a car accident. Once inside, there were scanners for bags before arriving at the check-in desks. There was a gold track for business class travelers, but it seemed like they weren't enforcing it and anyone could go through it. Once I made it through security into the check-in desks, I arrived at the business class entrance. It was definitely one of the longest business class check-in lines I've seen, and I wonder if everyone was even flying business. The line moved as slow as it looked, and once it was my turn, the check-in person was not helpful. Afterwards, I went through another business access area. The line seemed longer than other locations. Once I made it through security, I arrived to a duty-free area. The food court seemed a bit lackluster, but had some essential fast food options. I continued my journey towards the business lounge near my gate. It was a lot farther than I expected since it was at another area. I noticed a shop was selling baklava and I checked the price. It was almost $25 for an entire box, and I was able to get something similar for $5 in the city for a fresh box. I eventually made it to the lounge, but it also had access to the priority pass members and other people, so it was a little bit more crowded than expected. Once I checked in, I took the escalators to go up. The seating arrangement looked a bit awkward, but the lounge looked nicer than what I expected for the airport. The food options seemed limited, but still offer more options than what I'm used to at priority pass lounges in America. I eventually found a seat for myself, but there was no table for me to hold my plate while I was eating. It was nice they had water bottles so I could take it with me outside the lounge. The bread was individually packaged. It didn't taste bad, but also not amazing. I then found out the downstairs had a larger food selection. The first food option was fowl, and it did look like something fowl. I wasn't sure it was something like beans. Next up were eggs, sausages, mashed potatoes. My favorite was definitely the mashed potatoes. It was finally time for me to head to the gate. They did not board by groups, so everyone all approached at the same time. It was a bit disappointing having a business ticket with priority boarding, but the airline did not do anything about that. What was nice was that I received a separate entrance to board the front of the aircraft, which was where the business class seats were at. It was a 2-3-2 setup, which made it awkward because if you were in the window or middle seat, you would have to walk in front of the people next to you. The seats had plenty of legroom to stretch your legs or to switch a seat into a bed. It seemed like it was almost too much legroom and a waste of space. I finally decided to sit down and see how it looked. The legroom was nice, but the downside was that the entertainment system was so far away. The remote to control the seat was the most confusing I'd ever seen. I couldn't figure out which button was for what. Eventually, I got the seat to convert to a lay flat bed. I haven't flown business in a while, so it's nice to be able to lay down again. The airline left these pieces of tickets so I could notify if I wanted to be disturbed or not for meals. They had these long lamps that were pretty bendable, places for headphones to connect, and I'm not sure why there was the Ethernet port. The under storage for water bottle was a bit awkward on sizing. The remote seemed pretty standard. Next up is the dining table. It took some effort to move the table out, and seems like a good way to hurt your fingers. It was a good size, but it was not able to adjust forward or backwards for me. The entertainment system seemed a bit slow to respond to my touches. The movie selection was decent. I was then greeted with a hot towel and also received apple juice. They quickly collected my hot towel afterwards. I then discovered where the headphones were tucked away. The location was a bit awkward since I had to stand up and walk forward to grab it. This is the mini divider next to me that could slide forward and offer a little bit of privacy. I eventually received my blankets. It was a bit confusing why the seats weren't already prepared with the typical blankets and pillows for an international flight. I received a business class goodie bag. Let's see what's inside. Socks. I'm guessing one size fits all. Hairbrush, toothbrush and toothpaste, earplugs, and a pen or a straw. The seatbelts didn't have any extra padding compared to the other airlines' business class. It was crazy to see that I had almost 4 windows to myself. The seat was a bit too short for my feet, so I was a bit confused, but then I discovered you can control the bottom piece and make it longer. The crew seemed a bit behind and were still getting out items for all the seats. Eventually, it was finally time to take off. It was finally time to take a look at the menu. The menu selection seemed pretty big, but after another look, it was because they had to translate the options into different languages. The flight was finally over the ocean, and it's crazy how blue the ocean looks from the air. The first food item was a muffin with some nuts on it. It had a good texture to it and had good flavor. Eventually, a flight attendant set my table a tablecloth, but I was shocked to see how little effort was put into making sure it looked presentable. I had to fix it myself. I decided to order some ginger cinnamon tea and press the flight attendant button, but it took maybe 10 minutes before anyone responded. The first person forgot about my request, and I had to ask another person afterwards. The main food finally arrived. I opted for shrimp or rice. It came with a cheese platter, salad, and chicken salad. Time to try out the food. The shrimp had more flavor than expected. Next up was the rice. It also had good flavor. The coconut was a good addition, and there was just the right amount of coconut pieces. I just received bread from the flight attendant. It seemed fresh and had a good sponge texture. I added butter to it before trying. The flavor was good, and I think they did a good job with the bread. Next up was the two different cheeses. The first one had a more sweet flavor. The second one had a more bitter flavor. Next up was some chicken salad. The chicken outside had good flavor. The dish itself seemed bland. And the final item was the salad. The block of cheese was good. It reminded me of cheese, but I forgot the name of it. I didn't try the salad. I finally completed my lunch, and it was time to rest. My ginger cinnamon tea finally arrived. I still can't get over how blue the water looks in the ocean. I then decided to check out the business class bathroom and see how it is. There was a few more lights on the mirror than I expected, which gave off a slight Hollywood vanity feel. The sink had an option to control the temperature of the water. One thing that kind of grossed me out is that the soap was in this bottle, and I had to grab the bottle to get more soap. Afterwards, I made it back to my seat. I noticed the ceiling had starlights, which was a nice touch I haven't seen on my flights yet. Here's how it looked with all the windows closed. I tried to watch a movie, but the screen was too far and too small for me to enjoy. After a quick nap, we finally arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to me to see more travel content.